could scarcely see the earth at all. He tried turning the peg the other way, but when he did, the horse only rose further from the earth. This terrified him, and he began to regret his pride and anger. He turned the peg every which way, but nothing worked. However, he calmed himself and began to examine the horse more closely. He finally discovered another peg behind the ear, and when he turned it, the horse started to descend. The only one who could take you up 7 levels is Simorgh. Simorgh is an enormous magical bird, cousin of the phoenix. She lives nearby in the jungle. Every year she lays 3 eggs, and each year her chicks are eaten by a serpent. If you could kill the serpent, she would surely take you home. So Prince Khorshid went to the jungle and found the tree in which Simorgh had her nest. While he was watching, he saw a serpent climbing up the tree to eat the frightened chicks. Summoning up all his courage, he cut the serpent into small pieces and fed some to the hungry chicks who were waiting for their mother to bring them food.
The first thing we needed to do was to get the story.
Stories belong to a culture, they belong to a country, they belong to the people of a certain nation. They are actually traditional Persian stories.
When she asked what the reason was for this rejoicing, she was told it was to celebrate her wedding. She and the Sultan were to be married that very day. In desperation, she did the only thing she felt might save her. She dressed herself oddly and behaved in such a way as to make people think her mind was unbalanced. I congratulate your majesty. This is indeed the magic object that enchanted the princess. Have this horse brought out into the great square before the palace and bring the princess there. I promise that in a few minutes she will be completely cured.
Having the music from Kevin made me read better.
The princess was led out with her head covered in veils and brought within the circle. The so-called doctor placed her upon the enchanted horse. He then went around to each chafing dish and threw in a certain powder, which soon raised such a cloud of smoke that neither the physician, the princess, nor the magic horse could be seen through it. At that moment, the Prince of Persia jumped on the horse himself, and turning the peg while the magic horse rose into the air, he called down, "Sultan of Kashmir, a bride's heart must be won, not purchased." The same day, the Prince of Persia and his beloved princess arrived safely at his father's court. Their wedding was immediately celebrated with the greatest splendor, and everyone lived happily ever after.
Wanted to have Rimsky-Korsakov, Beethoven, Bizet, Borodin, Arvo Pärt, and Kevin beautifully brought in with the Persian music and wove the Persian music and his music and all the classical music in together, and so that weaving theme.
That was both the most rewarding part of the project and the most challenging. A combination of original music, classical music, and the traditional Persian music.